Hey guys, my name is Amanda. Welcome to my channel. I am so happy to have you here today. If you have not subscribed to my channel and you like the content that you see, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, please hit that bell button so you are notified every single time that I upload. And everyone, please consider giving me a big thumbs up, as that really helps me out here on YouTube, and it allows YouTube to know that people are enjoying the content I create. Thank you so much, friends. Enjoy the DIYs today. I do use mostly Dollar Tree items to keep these projects affordable, and our first category is going to be decor risers. So I begin by taking these two glass candlesticks, this other candlestick that I had in my stash that I've used in several projects, and these two wood panels from Dollar Tree. So these candlesticks I did purchase when they were $1, but they're only $1.25 now. I am going to apply some hot glue to one and some Gorilla Glue to the other. I am then going to flip one upside down so that I have these forming a taller candlestick. This is going to form our taller tray's base. Now I'm going to take these two wood planks and I'm going to sand them with a Dollar Tree sanding block, as the wood is a bit rough, so please watch your fingers for splinters. Once I have that done, I am going to paint on some of this Waverly Antique wax with a sponge brush. Once I am done painting it on, I'm going to wipe it off with a paper towel. Oh, you could just use a baby wipe for the whole process. I'm going to do both of these, the top and the sides. I do not do the bottom until I get the candlestick adhered, because I don't want to mess with that adhering. But I do paint my candlestick with 2 coats of Waverly Plaster Chalk Paint. I am then using hot glue to attach this, but I would recommend using a stronger glue like Gorilla Glue or E6000. I was just doing that for video purposes, and then I am going to use the same method to paint around that with my Waverly Antique wax. Here is what my taller one looks like, and I'm going to follow the same process with the shorter one by just gluing that candlestick on the back, then flipping it over, and I have 2 adorable, inexpensive trays. Now you could just make one. You would be well under $5. If you had any of this stuff in your stash, you could make both of them for about $5, as we're right there around that mark. Here's what they look like stacked on top of each other. But as I said, you could stack them side by side, one in front of the other. The possibilities are endless, and they are so gorgeous, you guys. I absolutely love how they came out. So for our next idea, we are going to make another 2 risers that are perfectly stacked side by side, or one in front of the other. And both of them are under our $5 range, or right around it. So I picked up these 2 Easter plastic dishes from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint them both with my Waverly Plaster Chalk Paint. I applied 2 coats on the outside, 2 coats on the inside. Here is what they both look like. They're so pretty. I absolutely love the ruffling on the sides. So here is what it looks like if you don't paint the inside, but of course I did, and I'm using a painted margarita glass that I had in my stash, but I'm still counting it, so $1.25. I painted it with 2 coats of this Waverly plaster, and I'm using an alternating Gorilla Glue and hot glue, and I'm going to place this right in the bottom middle of this plastic dish. So if you wanted to just make one, this project would be about $2.50. So here I'm going to paint the inside, and then with my other one I'm just using another candlestick. This project will be about $2.50 as well. So like I said, you can have the whole set for about $5. I'm doing the exact same process of alternating my Gorilla Glue and my hot glue, and gluing my candlestick right there in the middle of the bottom of this tray. I absolutely love these, you guys. They're so cute stacked. They're so cute side by side. They're perfect for Easter, as this is an Easter video, but they're also perfect for all year long. There's so many different things you could display in these. I wouldn't put food directly on them, but you could put wrapped goodies, florals, all kinds of adorable things. Here is what they look like side by side. So super cute. I just displayed it with my Dollar General bunny and some florals. I really hope that you like this. DIY. So for our next idea, we are going to make a nautical tray. So I found these large mirrors at Dollar Tree. They are a good size. They're not the small ones that have been out for a while. They're big. And I'm going to take some nautical rope and also some cream colored cotton rope. And this is from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to take the cream colored rope first and go right around the middle of that circular frame. So right around the middle there, I'm going to glue it down and I'm going to wrap it all the way around, keeping it as straight as I possibly can. Then I'm going to smush my ends together, trying to make them look as neat as possible. They don't have to be perfect. I have a plan to cover that. Now I'm going to take that nautical rope and go right on the inside portion of the frame on the other side of that cotton rope to cover that part of the frame. This rope is actually from Hobby Lobby. I find I can get a larger amount for a smaller price if I go to Hobby Lobby, but Dollar Tree sells this rope as well. Now I'm going to take one more piece of this cotton colored rope and go around the very inside of the mirror there. So far I've got that cotton and then nautical and then cotton and then one more little loop of nautical and cotton. So total of 3 cotton and 2 nautical going around. That's what it looks like. And then I'm just taking a piece of nautical rope and doubling it over, and I am tying a knot. So once that is done, I will cut the excess off either side of my knot, and I'll have 2 little tails on either side. I will glue that down and slightly fray my tails a little bit, and it looks adorable. And I can use that to cover the mess where all of my ropes meet. What you just saw was me trying to decide how I wanted to do this. I don't really know how to do a lot of fancy knots. If you do, that would be adorable. But I finally decided on just doing the simple knot with these little ends on either side and then fraying them out. So I hot glue this down, and of course I'm going to do one on the opposite side. And I think that this is just so adorable since a cute and inexpensive tray. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take these 3 wooden blocks from Dollar Tree. I leave them unfinished, but you could stain them or paint them if you wanted to. And I'm going to hot glue them down to the bottom of this mirror to elevate this tray. I pair it with a little nautical ball from Dollar Tree, a starfish from Dollar Tree, some gems, and a cute little glass jar. However, if you're not into nautical, I feel like you could style this differently, and it could be good for a lot of different decor styles. For our next idea, I'm going to begin with this beautiful image purchased from Hobby Lobby. It was the cover to a disposable cake pan, and they actually came 3 to a pack. They were 40% off. And I also am going to be using this pizza pan from Dollar Tree and this plant trolley from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the stickers. I'm going to trim the truck image off of that topper. I'm going to paint the sides and top of my trolley with Waverly plaster chalk paint. I'm also going to paint the bottom of my pizza pan with Waverly plaster chalk paint. I used 2 coats, and then I took some Dollar Tree rope and made 2 circles along the outer edge, gluing down the ends of my rope with hot glue and trimming at an angle so my rope does not stick out but rather goes flushly together. Once that is done, I'm taking this truck image and I'm going to use a combination of tacky glue and hot glue, not together of course, I do make sure they're separated, to adhere this down. I then coat the entire thing with Mod Podge so that it has a nice finish that is wipeable. Now I'm going to alternate my Dollar Tree tacky glue and my hot glue all around the edge of that garden trolley or plant trolley from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to make sure that the plant trolley is adhered firmly to my pizza pan. I am then going to flip the whole thing over and apply a generous amount of hot glue between the plant trolley and the pizza pan for added stability. And here it is, you guys, an adorable about $3 if you count the rope and the image. I'm not quite sure how to add that in, but I know this entire craft is under $5. So gorgeous. And in my house, again, we call this a Miss Susan because we have a few aunts and a really close friend named Susan. So lazy Susan in my house is kind of offensive. So I hope you like this craft. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. Let me know what you think in the comments section. So for our next idea, we are going to make this wooden beaded riser with Dollar Tree items. So I'm going to be using these Dollar Tree wood planks that come 6 to a pack. I'm going to be using some Gorilla Glue and some popsicle sticks. I am going to be using several packs of the Dollar Tree ping pong balls. So this is one pack of the wood pallets, 6 here. I placed them in 2 rows of 3, and then I used my popsicle sticks to adhere them together so that they are nice and stable. And I do this twice for the top and the bottom part of my riser. So once I have my popsicle sticks all cut down and glued on, and these things are nice and solid and not going anywhere, then I have the top and bottom base. Now I will have an exact count of how many boxes of ping pong balls that I used, or how many packages of ping pong balls that I used in my description box, but because I'm not exactly sure of the count of how many I used. So like I said, I'll have that in the description box, but I used 3 or 4 packs of these ping pong balls, and they are 6 to a pack. So I'm just going to go ahead and place some Gorilla Glue on the ping pong ball, and then I put a little bit of hot glue on the wooden piece. And again, we are gluing our ping pong balls to the side that has our popsicle sticks. So Gorilla Glue on my ping pong ball, and then hot glue on my wooden piece so that I don't mix my glues together. And then I do decide to go ahead and add a little bit of hot glue in between some of the ping pong balls just for a little bit more stability. So I'm going to do this around all 4 sides. So I'm going to do the 2 longer sides and the 2 shorter sides with these ping pong balls, just repeating the process until everything is done. Originally, I was not sure if the ping pong balls would hold up for this project, but they actually were strong enough to go between these wood pieces, and it worked really well for me. So I'm just going to go ahead, like I said, and do this all the way around. So I used 9 on the top and bottom, I believe, and it looks like I used 4 on the sides. Okay, so again, I'm going to go with my Gorilla Glue and some hot glue, kind of alternating my glues on the bottom part, or the popsicle stick side of my other wood piece, and then I'm going to flip it so the popsicle sticks are down, and I'm going to place it right on top of those ping pong balls. So now here in a minute, you're going to see some marbles tucked in between each ping pong ball. I originally thought that was what I wanted to do, and then I decided that's not what I wanted to do. So later on, you'll see that the marbles are gone, but that's an option. You could stick Dollar Tree marbles in between each ping pong ball. Now, these 4 little pieces that are going to be my legs are Dollar Tree pots that had succulents in them last year, but there's lots of different things that you could use for your legs if you want to. So I decided to use some beaded garland. So this is like a Mardi Gras bead, which Dollar Tree does carry. So I can say that that is a Dollar Tree DIY because Dollar Tree does carry these. I just could not find any. But this is the exact same thing. I just purchased it at Walmart. And I'm going to go around the top and the bottom of this tray with some hot glue. And then once that is done, I'm going to paint my entire tray with Waverly Plaster chalk paint. I just paint the legs, the beads, the top. I just used a large brush to paint everything, and then a smaller brush to get in between those little balls there. Once that is done, I'm going to use my antique wax on a large fluffy brush, and I'm just going to go over the sides of the tray, the legs of the tray, and the top. When that is done, I too go in again with a smaller brush and just put a little bit of plaster back on top of that antique wax in places that I feel are a little bit too dark. So that's kind of personal preference, how you want the wood to look for this tray. But here's what it looks like. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. It's a very sturdy tray, and I just think it looks so pretty with farmhouse items, and it will be gorgeous all year long, displayed differently. So here I kind of have Decorated for Easter. So for our next idea, we're going to make visor with Dollar Tree items. It has lettering on one side and is plain on the other side. You're going to need a full two of these signs from Dollar Tree, the long skinny ones, and some pieces of a third one. So here are my two full signs, but I have cut them at the end as you see. Then I have those two pieces of the third sign, and I have 4 Dollar Tree palettes as well as 4 of these little wooden candlesticks from Hobby Lobby, but you can use anything you like for the feet. Now, how I got the measurement for this is I just laid out these 4 little palettes on top of my 2 pieces and saw where I needed to cut. Then I just saw what the sides needed to be by measuring between my 2 pieces. So hopefully that makes sense. I did not give measurements because they would depend on whether you're using these palettes or whether you want to make this more inexpensively by just using a Dollar Tree sign. So really all you have to do is lay everything out and figure out exactly where you need to cut. Easy peasy. I then use some Gorilla Glue and also some hot glue to adhere all of these pieces together. If you have any questions about what I just said, please go ahead and just leave me a comment. I would be happy to explain. Once I get my frame built, I'm going to go ahead and coat the whole thing in Waverly Plaster Chalk paint. I'm then going to take these little candlesticks from Hobby Lobby. They were very inexpensive and come 5 to a pack. But as I said, Dollar Tree has many alternatives that you could use as feet as well. So I do feel comfortable calling this a Dollar Tree craft. I glue these on what is going to be my bottom and then flip this over. I am now going to stain my palette with Waverly Antique Wax. I'm going to be careful to stain down inside as well so this has a finished appearance. So like I said, I use 4 of these, which would be $5 these days, but you could just use a Dollar Tree sign, which of course would change the measurements that you cut your base to, but you should still be able to just use 3 of those signs for the base. So however you like to do it, there's tons of options. I just wanted to use these palettes because I really liked the look and I just thought it looked gorgeous. So once everything is stained and dry, I'm just going to glue my palettes down and they fit perfectly on top of the little outline that I had made, or the little frame that I had made for this riser. This was so quick, so easy. I absolutely love this color combination these days. You've probably seen several of these color combinations I have made. I just think it's so pretty, but you can do this any color you like. I used my Cricut to print out Forever Grateful for You, but again, Dollar Tree has rub-on transfers and they have letter stickers. I just think this is so pretty. Of course, if you do not want to see the lettering at some point, you just turn this around. It is a double-sided riser. So now we're going to do decor boxes. We're going to make this beautiful box that is perfect for a table centerpiece or a vignette. So I began with 6 of these wooden palettes from the Dollar Tree. They are the larger wooden palette. And I removed the stickers off the back, which are probably the only stickers from Dollar Tree that remove easily. I then made 2 sets of 2, holding them together with some hot glue and some popsicle sticks from Dollar Tree. I just trimmed the popsicle sticks down to size and glued them where the 2 palettes connect. So these 2 sets are the front and the back of my crate. I'm just doubling up my popsicle, trim the popsicle sticks down to size and glued them where the 2 palettes connect. So these 2 sets are the front and the back of my crate. I'm just doubling up my popsicle sticks to make sure I have a lot of stability. I'm using Gorilla Glue hot glue, but you can use any type of adhesive that you like. Now I'm going to take another palette and flip it over, and to the back side I am going to glue my 2 sets of 2 upward. So it's probably easier for you to see than me explain, but I'm just going to use generous amounts of glue and reinforce with glue. $6 for a very customizable crate. Now the price of the bottom will vary depending on what you use. You could use foam board or the back back of a Dollar Tree picture frame or a Dollar Tree sign. I just opted for these jumbo craft sticks from Walmart. It took me 10 of them, and I just laid them all out, traced where I needed to cut them down, and I did so. And then I'm just going to glue this to the top of my crate, which will be the bottom. So I just glue them to the sides there, and this is an easy crate that's very customizable. Now I'm just taking a little piece of wood. It's a wood plank from Dollar Tree. They come 6 to a pack, and I'm just gluing it to the front of my crate so that I can customize this. Now I wasn't sure what I wanted to put on here, so let me know what you would put on here if you make this. I just ended up using some Dollar Tree transfers with a little design, and I wrote the word bloom, but just let me know what you would put. I'm going to lay plaster chalk paint on this chippy brush, and I'm going to be brushing all over my crate just to give it an age distressed look. I really like how this looks. And then I am going to fill the inside with some pieces of brown craft paper from Dollar Tree that I just cut up and just kind of crunch them together. And this will dummy up the bottom of my crate so I don't have to have it as full. I'm just using some Dollar Tree florals. Of course, that big white floral is not from Dollar Tree. And here are the rub-on transfers that I just applied to the front. Again, I just could not decide what to put on the front, but I like how the transfers look. So here it is, very customizable. I hope you like it. So here's what it looks like. Repurposed. I took those flowers out and I put in some more greenery. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. And I hope you agree. So for our next idea, we're going to take these 2 cutting boards from Dollar Tree, these 2 vases. This is from Dollar Tree, and 2 of these little signs from Dollar General that you can get for $1 and have several different animals on them. I'm going to flip these little cutting boards over and paint the back with Waverly Ink chalk paint. Then Mod Podge over my chalk paint and allow that to dry. Flipping my little cutting board signs over, I will have removed as much of the paper as possible with my little sanding block or piece of sandpaper, and then I will Mod Podge over that. I will take a piece of scrapbook paper that I like. Now this came in a pack from Michael's, but Hobby Lobby has the same scrapbook paper as well, and I'm going to lay a piece of scrapbook paper on top of that Mod Podge. I had to use 2 little pieces, so I just lined them up, and then I'm going to trim off any excess with some sandpaper around the edges for a clean cut, and I'm going to seal that paper in with another layer of Mod Podge. Now here is some of these beautiful stencils that I was so excited and blessed to find at Dollar Tree. So I'm going to go ahead and tape down one of these stencils on the black side of my little cutting board here. I'm going to do one that says it is good to be home, and I'm going to use my Dollar Tree stencil brush and some Waverly plaster colored chalk paint. I'm just going to dab that carefully, and when that is done, I'm going to remove it, and this is what we have. I also did one that says Our Story, and I Mod Podged over that phrase or those words. Now I'm going to take my signs, cut the twine off, and then I am going to take 2 little boxes from Dollar Tree. These are the square flat boxes with the designed tops, and I'm very sorry I did not say in the beginning I was going to be using these. Honestly, it was kind of an afterthought. I'm going to glue them together with hot glue. You can use any adhesive you like, and I'm going to paint the entire thing with my Waverly Ink chalk paint. I'm then going to stand one of my little framed animals. I was going to use the sheep, but decided on the pig, and I did paint over that little oink that was on there. I glue that to the front of my little box concoction here, and I glue the other one to the back, the other sign that is. Now I am going to glue my little cutting boards to either side. I'm going to glue to the side that has the scrapbook paper, and I'm going to glue the bottom very well, and then I'm going to go on the inside and reinforce those little signs with some more hot glue. Of course, I repeat the same process on the other side, the It's Good to Be Home, and I run some hot glue inside of our little box until it is sturdy. Did not show this, but I will cover up the staples on the inside back of our box with a piece of ribbon later. Now I take a little dowel rod that I got from the pack from Walmart, but Dollar Tree has dowel rods as well. I'm going to paint that black and insert it through the holes at the top. Now I untie the ribbon around those glass vases and paint them Waverly plaster and Waverly ink to remove the shine, but that is not necessary. Then I return the bows, and this is what it looks like. I used a piece of ribbon that I had from an extra vase and just glued that to the back of the sides on the inside. So for our next idea, we're going to make this a very large, gorgeous, sturdy box with Dollar Tree items. I begin with 3 of these long Dollar Tree signs that come in various colors with various cutouts, 2 of the dry erase boards with wooden frames, and 1 of these trays, which I broke apart. Actually, 2 of these trays, which I broke apart, and I'm going to use the back of. Now I'm going to go back to our wooden frame dry erase boards, and I'm going to paint them with Waverly Plaster chalk paint. Then I'm going to take the back of our trays that we broke off, and I'm going to stain them with Waverly Antique Wax. Once they are stained, I'm going to glue them to one side of our little dry erase board. Of course, I'm going to do that twice. Now I'm coming back to these 3 large signs, and I am just cutting off the cutout parts. They score and then break really easily, so I just use scissors. I'm going to attach these in a box shape with my Gorilla Glue and hot glue alternating. So I lay one flat to be the bottom, stand one up on the side on top of a generous amount of that glue, and I just kind of hold it up while I'm taking some of these little wood blocks and gluing them down along the edge where the 2 meet for stability. I do that for the left and right side or front and back, however you're looking at it. And then I'm going to use these sides, these little dry erase boards as the sides, and I am going to glue them down again with the same glue concoction. And then I'm going to glue along the inside edges to make sure it's stable. And I'll cover up that gluey mess by taking a piece of Dollar Tree rope and running it up those sides and leaving a loop at the top to be a handle. I'm doing that on both sides, and once that is done, I decided to go ahead and cover the outside of these dry erase board frames with some Dollar Tree rope as well. I just think that adds a little bit more texture, ties everything together, and also covers up any mess that we may have made with the glue by attaching these. So I just go ahead and do that for some added extra detail. And now I'm going to take a cow from Walmart that cost me almost $1.50 around, and I'm going to paint that with Waverly Antique Wax and put that on the front with hot glue. I'm then going to come into these sides. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I decided to just brush on some Waverly Antique Wax and wipe it off because the insides of these sides have that wooden piece that is stained. So this just ties everything together. So I just showed you that there are some different options for the Farmhouse animals over at Walmart, but I love this little cow, so there he is. So here is the rooster, which you could use. He's just a little bit too tall, or a pig. And here's what this looks like. So sturdy, so gorgeous, so large. I actually placed a Coke 12-pack box inside of here to place my greenery on top of to display it. So that is how large it is. I really hope that you like this as well. So for our next idea, I'm going to show you how I use Dollar Tree items to create this adorable little crate, which I have displayed in my kitchen. I absolutely love it, and again, it's very customizable and it's a pretty nice size. So I'm going to be using these frames from Dollar Tree, and I'm also going to be using 6 planks from Dollar Tree. They come 6 to a pack. Now I'm going to take my frame inserts and I'm going to cover them in fabric by using my hot glue gun. So I cut the fabric 2 sides like you see me do, and then I'm just going to make sure that it's glued down on either side. I wanted it on either side so the inside of my crate looked finished as well. So of course you'll have to do this twice for your 2 frames, and I just used my scissors to go ahead and trim off any excess there. And once that is done, I will be popping these back into the frames after I apply the glass to the frames. So I put the glass in first, and then I put this little backing in, and then I use the little tabs that are on the frame to make sure that this is nice and sturdy. And then we have our 2 little house frames ready to be the sides of our crate. So once that is done, I have my 6 little wooden pieces. So I'm going to create 3 groups of 2 just by using some popsicle sticks and some hot glue, and I do go ahead and paint over those popsicle sticks. So here I'm showing you three groups of 2. So 2 of these are going to be our side and 1 group will be the bottom. So here I'm just figuring out exactly how I want it to sit, and I'm going to be applying a generous amount of hot glue there so that it can kind of go down and meld these 2 pieces together. You can use E6000 or any type of glue that you like, but this Gorilla Glue actually made this crate pretty sturdy for me. So here I'm just going ahead and going over that popsicle stick where I forgot while I'm holding it and allowing the glue to dry. I'm kind of multi-purposing here, or multitasking. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue the other piece down on the other side, and as you can see, I am popping a little popsicle stick there. Once I apply the glue, I'm popping a little popsicle stick down where these 2 pieces meet, just for some added stability. So here's that. And of course I did that on the other side as well. Then I hold this until it dries, and then I'm going to go ahead and prepare the other side. So I'm just figuring out exactly where I want it, and I'll also be using generous amounts of hot glue along the edge and 2 more popsicle sticks on top of that glue to adhere this all together. Sorry, you hear my little doggo yawning here. We actually had a scare with our puppy a few days ago. We almost lost her because I gave her a heartworm shot that she'd never had before. Well, the vet gave it to her, and she had a severe allergic reaction, and it was touch and go all day. We were at the vet's office. It was really scary, but she's okay now, so I totally don't mind hearing her sleepy little yawn. So here you saw me apply the bottom. I did use a little tacky glue for that and some hot glue. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take a little dowel rod from this package that I purchased at Walmart. But Dollar Tree does have dowel rods. I just haven't seen any lately. Of course I paint it. I cut it to size. I painted it after I cut it to size, and I'm using my glue to just tuck it down in there. It is a really good fit, so it stays really nice. Then I'm just going to go ahead and tie a little bow with that same ribbon I've been using, Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'll just cut the tails down to size the way I like them. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use some spare brown packing paper from Dollar Tree to kind of dummy up my bottom a little bit, so when I go ahead and put my florals or my greenery in here, it doesn't sink down. So here I am, just kind of fussing with my bow a little bit and dovetailing these ends. A dovetail is just by cutting upward to create like a triangle. So here I am doing the brown paper like I said, and then I use about 5 stems of this boxwood greenery and just kind of tuck them in there, easy peasy. I did go ahead and bend that little stem over. Oh my goodness, you guys, sorry about getting tongue-tied, but here we are. It is so gorgeous. Here is what it looks like in my kitchen, a front view and a side view. Of course, I had to go ahead and pop a little bit more baby's breath in there, but I think it is so pretty, and I really hope you think so too. So let's begin with decor trays. First off, we are going to make this little basket made with Dollar Tree items. So I'm using this clear garden dish from Dollar Tree, some rope, some twine, and also the blue and creamish colored rope from Dollar Tree. You can also get your rope at Hobby Lobby. I feel like you get the same type of rope, a larger amount for a smaller price, but that is totally up to you. So I am going to begin swirling the rope all around the inside of this dish like so. I just start with a little twist in my fingers, glue it down, and then I just wrap and wrap So I'm going to wrap the whole bottom part, glue it down, and then I'm going to come in with one loop of this beautiful blue and cream ribbon from Dollar Tree. So it's going to look like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and take another piece of that ribbon and cut it in half, making sure that my pieces are equal. I have 2 equal pieces for handles. I am then going to glue them down like you saw me do here, one on either side of my little basket. And then I am going to finish the inside of this basket with the rope, and I'm going to go right over top of those little handles until I get to the top of the basket, and that top layer of rope I am going to go behind the handles, and this will allow them to stand up a little bit better. And then I'm just going to keep wrapping the outside of my basket. Now you could stop here, that's what I was showing you. You could leave your bottom flat, but I decided to just cover the entire thing. Then I'm going to take a turtle cutout from Dollar Tree. They come about 8 to a pack, and I'm going to take this Dollar Tree twine, and I am just going to glue a piece down and begin wrapping the turtle like so. I go under his armpits and wrap his entire body first, and then I wrap his little, I don't know, are they arms, fins, flappers, whatever they are. I go ahead and wrap them, and then the feet separately. I just found that a little bit easier, but however you do it to get this little turtle wrapped up, we just don't want to see any of that wood. We want him to be covered in this beautiful twine. So just use tiny dabs of hot glue wherever necessary, and also covering the little feet with the twine. Just be careful of the hot glue. And once your turtle is covered, I just attach him to the middle of the basket, and this is so adorable. So this is mostly for decor. It could be functional if you wanted it to be. I will just be displaying it. I think it is so adorable on its side like this, and surrounded by other nautical stuff. It is so cute, so inexpensive, and easy to make. So for my next idea, I saw this absolutely gorgeous tray that Courtney from Creative on the Cheap made, and I decided to try my hand at it as well. So I recreated this lemon tray that she made. Her tray will be in the top corner, and here is what I made with inspiration from her. I purchased this 18-inch wood round from Home Depot and asked them to cut it down the middle for me, and they did with their saw. It only took them a quick second to do this cut, and this wood round cost me $10, and I'm going to get 2 projects out of it. So I began by taking my pencil, sketching out a half circle there at the top, and then sketching out a few of these triangle shapes. I do 4 whole ones, and then I go back and put a half one on either side. And I'm, like I said, just using the pencil to trace these out. They don't have to be exact, but if you feel like you messed up, you can use the eraser on your pencil to erase and redraw the line. So I'm just doing that to get it exactly how I want it. And then, like I said, I did feel like it needed a little bit along the sides, so I did come back and do 2 little edges. Now I'm going to paint in all of my little pencil designs with Waverly Maze chalk paint. I will do 2 coats of this just to give a nice vibrant color. I absolutely love this yellow. It is so pretty. So I do 1 coat, allow it to dry, and then come back in with a second coat. Again, this does not have to be perfect. And here I am doing the little 2 halves. And then I'm going to also fill in that half circle there with the same color of paint and 2 coats as well. Just making sure that I get the whole sketched design as close as possible. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my Waverly plaster chalk paint, and I'm going to paint a half circle all around that design on the wood round at the top there. I'm going to just do my best, and again, I absolutely love just having fun with this. I've never done anything like this before, so thank you so much for inspiring me, Courtney. Here's your crown. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the same paint to just go between each one of my triangle designs just filling it in the best I can. And again, I did 2 coats of this as well. I wanted this piece of lemon to be very bright and vibrant. And then I did the edge of the tray with that yellow maize as well. Now I'm taking this apple barrel. I believe it was King's Gold, but I can't see that well. I will have it listed below in my description box, but I'm going to go ahead and give my lemon another half circle right around the edge. Now I brush over that with some more of that maize chalk paint just lightly, and I'm using a stencil brush. I'm also going to stencil brush lightly over those triangle pieces with that darker yellow color, just playing around, and then come back in and brush on some of that plaster color. So that's all optional. I just wanted to have a lot of dimension and depth on this tray. I just thought it was really pretty. So I also follow the same steps there on that half circle, and I did use a paper towel to kind of wipe it in a little bit, kind of give it a muted look. There's what that looks like. I'm going to go over it with 2 coats of Mod Podge, and I have handles that I purchased at the Home Depot as well. They come with screws and they were about $1.50 each. So I'm just going to figure out exactly where I want them. And then my husband went ahead and drilled the screws in for me. I'm not that great with power tools as I am so clumsy. So he just went ahead and did that for me, one on either side. So this tray has some gorgeous handles. And here is what it looks like. I absolutely love it. It is such a beautiful piece. It's not food safe since I use the Mod Podge, but you could put wrap these on it if you wanted to. So for the next idea, we're going to take the other piece of my wood round to make another tray, and like her, I also made a watermelon tray following similar steps, but I went ahead and used this lacquer by Waverly to create a half circle on my half circle, and I actually did 2 coats of this. So I just did one, allowed it to dry, and then I did my second one, and this one was so fun as well. I think that there's going to be more painting on my channel now that I am stepping outside my comfort zone, and absolutely loved how these trays came out. So here we go, just creating this half circle and then filling it in. So here is what that looks like. And again, I did do 2 coats. And then I took my Waverly plaster and did a thin line right over top of the edge of that line of lacquer color. I just went all the way around. And then I took this scallion green by Waverly and did another thin line right on top of the edge of the Waverly line. Then I come in with the darkest green of Waverly and do another line at the very edge, and also I did the edge side of that tray as well. Then I'm going to dry brush with my stencil brush some of that scallion colored paint on top of the darker colored green just to add some dimension. Now I'm just using my pencil to sketch out some seeds. You could do as many or as few as you like, whatever size you like. I did a whole bunch of little ones, and I'm going to come in with this jumbo marker from Dollar Tree. It worked so well and fill in my seeds. I am then going to give this 2 coats of Mod Podge and follow the same steps to put handles, the exact same type, on this tray as well. I made this one for my sister, and I'm going to keep the lemon one for myself. I thought it was really cute that we each have half of a whole piece, so I'm a little corny that way, I guess, but my sister really seems to like this. So I'm really happy about that. Next, I'm going to show you how I took a couple of Dollar Tree items and turned it into a gorgeous sign or tray. It can be used either way. So I found this wooden tray at Dollar General for just a couple dollars, and I have used it several times. So there's my son and I repainting it with Waverly chalk paint in the color Agave. And here's 2 placemats from Dollar Tree. This bottom one is kind of like a rubbery texture, but it has some holes in it, so that is why we painted the bottom of this tray. Now we're just drawing where we need to cut to make this mat fit perfectly into the bottom of our tray. I'm going to glue it down and make sure that it is smoothed tightly. Hot glue worked fine for me, but you could use use any type of long-term adhesive you felt necessary. Now I'm just taking my placemat and figuring out exactly where I want to cut it. I do want the bottom placemat to show, so I'm just figuring out that I just want the truck image. So I cut the words off the top and I cut some off either side. Then I just use my hot glue to adhere this truck image right on top of that first colorful placemat. This DIY is so quick and so easy, but I think it is so pretty, and it turned on its side. It makes a gorgeous decor piece you could hang on the wall, but it also works as a tray. So now I'm just taking some Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster and painting all along that edge for a finishing touch to make it pop. And I think that this DIY turned out so cute and very customizable. So for our next idea, I have recently posted this, but it was so cute I wanted to share it again. I used Dollar Tree items. I bought this bright colorful parrot tray at Dollar Tree along with these puffy stickers that look like door hinges. I'm going to place a little hinge on each side of my tray there, each corner that is, and then I'm going to apply 3 generous coats of my plaster chalk paint right on top of this tray and on top of the stickers, allowing each coat to dry before beginning the next coat. I do a couple more stickers there on the sides, as you can see. These stuck very well and I did not use hot glue, but you totally could if you wanted to, and then just paint right over them, as I said, and this comes out absolutely gorgeous. This is what it looks like. And then I took some Waverly Antique Wax and a Dollar Tree stencil brush, and I just lightly brushed over those gorgeous little stickers and the sides of my tray. I also brushed lightly over the middle of my tray to give this an aged and antiqued look. I'm going to take this rub-on transfer from Dollar Tree. I had never tried these brown paper stencils before, and I was very pleasantly surprised with how they worked. They come on more like a stamp than a bright defined transfer, and I absolutely love it for that antique look. So I just took my faux cricket scraper from Dollar Tree, and I just kind of used the edge there to rub over this entire transfer. Once it is done, you remove your paper, and here is what it looks like. A gorgeous stamped on look. This project was so easy. Very, very simple, but I absolutely love how it looks. I think it's a beautiful decorative piece and quite a large statement piece for a kitchen or a vignette. And Dollar Tree did have several options with these brown paper transfers. So I hope you like this super easy idea that would also look nice in any other size tray. That's what I love about Dollar Tree. There are so many different options. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And take care, friends.
You can subscribe to my mom's channel. And thank you for watching today's craft and stay safe.